Welcome, everyone. We are live again on the Invincible CEO YouTube channel. My name is Dede Powerniak, and I am the Invincible CEO. And this is the Invincible CEO Wish Fulfilled Playground. We are in our Wish Fulfilled. I'm so excited that you're here today because this video is part 2. Yesterday, we put up a regular video, which was part 1, called You Are the Eye of the Manifesting Storm. And we really got into a wonderful discussion of how 3D circumstances don't matter. So we are going to build off of that today because today's video is called It's Always Sunny in Your Imagination, Why 3D Circumstances Don't Matter. And yesterday was all about cracking the code to eliminate all doubt and fear, because once you really, not that you even have to grasp these concepts, but I know you're looking for a deeper understanding. And we're going to really zero in on what's going on and break this down. And I didn't want that video to be too long yesterday, where I know when we do these lives, we tend to go towards an hour. And I love the questions and the feedback that you provide me as we're having these discussions and topics. So just to give you a little bit of introduction, this channel was created so that you could get rid of all of the doubt and fear, all of the confusion around manifestation, because whether you call it mindset or manifestation, mindset is, I would say, the human form of manifestation, the repetition form, that if you do something through enough repetition, it becomes natural and normal to you, and it usually produces a result, but not all the time. But I know when people are talking manifestation, they're looking for the magic. They're looking for that delusional or the woo-woo or the intuitive hit, because you can transcend time and space. You can butt to the front of the line. So my role in this as your guide, because as you know, I am a trained interrogator. I investigate financial fraud prior to all of this. But in addition, I became a certified personal trainer, certified nutritionist, and 9th degree Reiki Grandmaster. And here's the thing, what being a personal trainer taught me about manifestation. I can take you into the gym. I can demonstrate for you what the exercise looks like. I can repeat the demonstration. I can teach you how to breathe properly as you're doing the exercise. I can tell you what you should be feeling inside your body based on my years of experience and repetition. But the one thing I can't do for you is do the exercise. I can't. That's where you have to step up. And do you have to do anything at all? No, you can sit and be still. However, most of our minds won't allow us to do that, won't let us allow to sit and be still. So we create this messy middle that doesn't have to be, because you hear things like stay in your wish fulfilled, persist in your wish fulfilled, 3D circumstances don't matter. And it's those concepts that have inspired yesterday's video, You Are the Eye of the Manifesting Storm, cracking the code, eliminating doubt and fear. Because if there's doubt and fear, you're in thought, because all doubt and fear can only come to you through thought. And we've talked over and over about 0 point here on this channel, dedicated a 30 video series to it, going deep dive in the now, that the now moment is so amazingly calm and boring 99% of the time, that if you have a lower mind, it gets bored and it wants to create stories in the now moment, stories that are unnecessary. So I don't have to sit here and tell you, oh, by the way, I'm sitting here giving a talk on It's Always Sunny in Your Imagination, because you know that's what I'm doing. We're doing a video on it right now. I don't have to tell you that's what I'm doing. And to keep reminding you that I'm doing it as I'm doing it would be so redundant and so ridiculous that it probably would turn you away. So when you realize when you're walking, you don't have to say to yourself, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. You don't have to tell your heart to beat. You don't have to tell your body to digest your food. That's the subconscious mind. That's the intuitive mind. That's the heart-based mind. And it got you covered. It's only the thinking mind that's doing a job that it wasn't supposed to do, because you've never thought a thought in your whole entire life. You are the consciousness, just like clouds are in the sky. Clouds are not the sky. Clouds are in the sky, and sometimes they can block out the blueness of the sky, and they can block out the sun, but the sun is always shining and the sky is always there behind the clouds. And that was the gist of yesterday's talk and I did put the link for yesterday's video in the description box below, that when you start to realize this is probably the most powerful analogy for manifestation and how to stay out of the messy middle, stop creating the messy middle, because time doesn't exist, right? When you go to 0 point or you wake up first thing in the morning, all time and creation began for your character, because you're not the character that went to sleep. You are not the character that was sleeping. You are now the character that is awake and aware because you've opened your eyes and you see the reality that you're in. And awareness is everything. Awareness is the now moment. And what are you aware of in the now moment depends on the perspective that you have in that now moment. And most of the time, you're in a character. Now, in my 2-day events, I talk about the character, the hybrid, and the creator, right? The character is what we want to go into when we have picked a story so amazing, right? Just imagine that you could go and be part of any movie or TV show and you can pick the character you want to play. And you go in, or even a virtual reality game where you can literally jump into the game, forget that this reality exists. You would want to have the full experience of jumping into that virtual reality and being that character. You don't want to remember that you have a headset on and you're sitting in a room playing a game. And you want to lose yourself in what it is that you're doing. We do that all the time when we're running or working out or singing or playing a musical instrument or painting or sculpting, right? All that matters is what's right in front of you right here, right now. And that's where we want to get you back to. So that was sort of like our introduction there. And you can let me know at any time, where are you viewing from? And where are you viewing from? And at any time, if you have any questions, please, please, please put them in the wonderful chat box so that I can, in real time, share that information with you that you need to know right then and there. I do want to take a reminder right now to remind you that our next 2-day event is September 7th and 8th. And we are going to explore going deeper in the now. Day 1 has 4 sessions. We're going to go into 0 point. We're going to go deep into 0 point so that by the end of that day, you'll understand what 0 point is. You'll understand how to induce it. You'll understand what to do while you're in it. And you'll understand what to do when you come out of it on day 2. So that's the subconscious. Day 1, we really dive deep into the subconscious mind. Day 2, we come back for 4 more sessions. And now we bring in the conscious mind, and I teach you what the conscious mind's job should be. And we script the reality and the levels of reality so that you know what the wanted levels look like and what the unwanted levels look like. And just like when you look at your phone and you get a text and you know it's a text for you, or someone texts you a wrong number, you don't have to answer the wrong number. We don't engage with realities that are not our realities, because they'll pull you into them because they're just as real as all the other realities out there. And until you know your reality, you don't want to be playing in realities or taking a detour into a reality that's not wanted. So this is going to be a very powerful 2-day event. There is a small nominal fee to register, and you have the ability to finance it if you need to. It's small enough, but if that's something that you need to do, I've made those options available to you. This is private. It's not on YouTube. You will be in a nurture group with me in a Zoom-like environment so that you will get to ask me in real time, and I can actually take you through the different 0 point meditations and different 0 point techniques that we're going to be doing. Every time someone has come into my 2-day events, they are blown away. So there is a link you can click on with all the information and also some of the testimonials of people who've been in the 2-day event. You don't want to miss this. This is going to be life-changing for your manifestation journey, because I know the frustration that you feel, because I've been there. I've been there. I understand. And that's why we're doing all of this here, so that you can get the clarity. Because my job that I've learned and especially as an investigator and interrogator, I realized that people weren't criminal. They just made terrible choices in the now moment, either sprung up from opportunity or necessity, or maybe a hybrid of both. So what I help you do is make clear, concise choices so that you know what you've chosen, so that as you're retraining, not your subconscious mind is already impressed. It's like a buffet. It has all the stuff there. But impressing your conscious mind, because your conscious mind changes every 15 to 30 seconds, and you're never going to convince a conscious mind that needs to be convinced, because it's always going to doubt. The doubting mind, the doubting Thomas within you is always going to be doubting. So you got to let that mind alone. You got to let that version alone and go into the conviction of the mind that chose. So how do you do that? You're very present in the now moment, and you don't care about 3D circumstances. All right, guys, where are you viewing from? Let me know. And what questions do you have for me? Put those in the chat so that I can take a look at those as they come in and we can answer them for you. Okay, so let me take that down here. All right. And I'm going to do this real quick. There we go. We got that at the bottom. So that we know which talk we're in here. All right. So I really appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. If you haven't taken the chance yet to like and subscribe, please do so. And feel free to share this channel with all your friends, because I'm here for you. I want to see you win big, win all the time. And I want to see it happen quick. I want you to stay out of the messy middle that's not necessary. You're not developing a pilot for a TV show where there's a beginning, middle, and end. We're going into the wish fulfilled. And not only are we crossing the finish line, but we're going to be about a month or two into your wish fulfilled. What would your life be like? Okay, so now if we go back to what the topic here is today, it's always sunny in your imagination. And I almost called my talk that yesterday, but I wanted to get the power of that. You are the eye of the storm. You are the calm. And even if it seems like your character, because the character is the character, right? You lose yourself in the character. You come out of the character, and at the opposite end is the creator, right? The creator mode. So if you were developing a book, you, the author, are the creator, and you are developing all of your characters, right? You give them a story, you give them a background story, you give them a character arc as they're going to go on their journey, right? So that's the creator. And the hybrid is that when you go into the character and you come to a moment of cognitive dissonance that makes you question your reality, you don't have to go into full creator mode to fine-tune what's going on there, because as the creator, knowing that you're now the breath of the character, you, the creator, breathing life into the character, so that the character doesn't always have to come totally out into creator. There's this hybrid moment where there's cognitive dissonance. I was explaining to one of my clients today how you would say this is, let's say you decided to run a marathon, and you know that you have to run 26.2 miles. And for whatever reason, you didn't see yourself not only crossing the finish line, because if you're going to create the whole scene, if you're the author and you got to write the whole scene, just imagine an author writing a book, a chapter, and not giving the conclusion to the scene or the chapter. So you sit down, you 0 point out, you remove yourself from your reality, and you go into the imaginal act, not only of you crossing the finish line, but you having a conversation and talking to someone that's waiting there for you, what the race was like. Or you have yourself wrapped in your blanket to kind of warm you up because you stopped moving, or whatever the scenario would be. So let's say you're running this marathon, and 23 miles in, you hit that proverbial wall that you've heard about. All that means, the reason why that character, that version of you can't take another step, that it hit the wall, is that's all the programming you gave it. If you didn't see yourself in the character that started as the character that crossed the finish line and was having a conversation about the race, then when that character goes as long as it can, because what will happen is, even if you did give yourself the mental bandwidth for the 26.2, and you start having thoughts in your head that are counteracting it, it's almost like chopping away from the energy of that character so that it only gets to the 23-mile mark. But you got to remember, that's not what you came here for. So all you have to do as the operant power at that 23-mile mark is put that initial character to rest, and then conjure up a version of you, another character that can run 4 miles, because you don't even have to get a new character that can run a marathon because you got 3.2 miles to go, right? So maybe a 5K and a little bit more. And when that character comes in, a 4 miler version of you, they're not even tired because they didn't run the first 23. It's like you're passing the baton to the next character. And that character now is breathing life into the physical body and moves the body. So it's not even mental as it is knowing who you are in the now moment, what you've chosen, and that you finish everything that you start. So you teach yourself what little things during the day that you close out your loops. And there's videos on this channel, both live and regular, on how to close out mental loops. If you do your laundry and you leave it in the dryer, you haven't closed out the loop. And your mind will keep looping you around until you do. So what we do here in this channel is we close out all of these loops by saying that we're no longer that character, because it's always sunny in your imagination. And I laugh because there's a show called It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I'm born and raised in Philly. So I think my mind was reminding me, because sometimes even I can go deep enough into a character to forget that I know all this manifestation stuff. It's kind of mind-blowing, but it happens because that's how good the illusion is. So I want you, as I started to say last week with how to manifest a unicorn, I want you to see yourself as not the physical body, as not any of the 3D circumstances. It's all you. But I want you to really start identifying with the breath that the characters breathe. Because you're your life itself. You are existence itself. Nothing begins until you're consciously aware of it. If there's a tree in a forest and it falls down, does it make a noise? If it's not in front of you, the way manifestation works, there is no tree, there is no forest, there is no noise. And that's why the only thing that's important is what's right in front of you right now. And if you take a look at your yesterday, the majority of your day is peace and calm. There's no wars being fought in front of you. There's nobody starving in front of you. There's nobody that is without in front of you, right? And then you start to realize these are all echoes that come into your mind. So if your mind is like the sky and it's boundless, it just keeps going and going and going, we can then say these clouds coming in are like the echo thoughts. And they can make a sunny day seem like it's cloudy. They can make a sunny day seem like it's rainy or even snowy. But the sky is always there and the sun is always shining. So now I really want to go over the implication of what this means for you. And guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat. Because you hear manifestation teachers say all the time, 3D circumstances don't matter. And I know you're trying to wrap your mind around what does that mean? How can it not matter, right? And we think about Neville Goddard with Abdullah, and Abdullah saying you're in Barbados, right? He slammed a door in his face. And he, Neville's like, I'm still here in New York. I'm not in Barbados. And Abdullah's like, nope, you're in Barbados. And he slammed the door in his face. So we're not going to slam the door in your face here. We're a little softer. But sometimes with my clients, I have to be like Abdullah, because of the fact that the thing that's saying I'm not in Barbados or I'm not in my wish fulfilled is a thought. If you're speaking words are redundant in the now moment. They're not needed. They're not needed to be thought, because the conscious mind isn't meant to be a thinker. It is meant to be a chooser. The conscious mind chooses and the subconscious mind populates. Hello, Lori from Las Vegas. Great to see you here. The conscious mind chooses. That's it. You walk into Baskin Robbins, you choose a flavor. You choose a flavor and you choose how you want it. Do you want it on a cone? Do you want it in a bowl? Do you want a milkshake? Do you want a banana split? What do you want? And then you tell the person that can create this concoction for you. It's like you're telling the creator. Right now, you've kind of split your personalities. So there's this person behind the counter and you say, I want a scoop of chocolate and a scoop of vanilla on a waffle cone with Jimmy's. And I'm from Philly. They're Jimmy's. They're not sprinkles. So now, crazy thing, the person behind the counter represents your subconscious mind. You've given the order, you've given the command, you've made the choice. And the subconscious mind takes you at your word. So that person takes you at your word that that's exactly what you want. It doesn't ask you, are you sure? It doesn't ask you, are you ready? It doesn't ask you, are you worthy? It says yes, and it starts moving to fulfill your order. But if you decide, no, you don't want vanilla and chocolate, you actually want vanilla and strawberry, and you want it in a dish with nuts on it and whipped cream, and you tell that to the person, they go, okay. They stop doing the first thing, and now they start creating. Once again, you're the chooser, the conscious mind, you represent the conscious mind, you choose, and then time to populate it. You're not asking, where is it? Why isn't it done? Why isn't it already in my hand? You're allowing the time and space for it to play out. You don't need to give them a story why you changed your mind. You don't need to give them a story why you chose it in the first place. Because once you gave the order, they start moving to fulfill it. And this is where we make manifestation a lot harder than it has to be. Now, if we use the analogy, and this is why I wanted to take the time today in this second part, in this part 2, that yesterday, if you haven't had a chance to watch yesterday's video, when I used to teach in-person classes, I would say to everybody, and they would write it down, and then they would call things out, and I would write it on the board. Describe a rainy day using your 5 senses, right? So you're going to describe what you see, you're going to describe what you feel, you're going to describe what you can smell and taste and touch, right? And hear. And they gave me a list of, there's clouds, it's gray, I can smell, it smells like rain, I can hear the raindrops, I can feel the raindrops on my body, or I can feel the raindrops on the umbrella as it hits the umbrella and it vibrates through the umbrella. I can hear the rain hitting the house or the windows. I can see the drops. I can see everything's wet. And they go on and on and on and on, and I'm writing everything on the board. And I always ask them, but there's a key component that's missing. And they might even say the sky is dark. They might even mention the sky, the clouds, the rain, the drops. But never in all the time of doing that has anyone said to me, oh, and the sun is shining. Now, maybe if I had said this was a sun shower, they might say that, but I didn't say that. I'm talking about a thunderstorm. I'm talking about a rainy, rainy day. Because why? Because the conscious mind is having you pick from the perspective of the character that you're enveloped in, that you're engrossed in, that you believe that you are in that now moment. It's so good that you believe that you are whatever you call yourself, right? Lori from Las Vegas would be saying, I'm Lori from Las Vegas, and this is what's going on in my reality. And because your perspective is limited to that space and time and what you've experienced and what you've been taught about rainy days, they don't teach you in school that the sun is always shining, even on a rainy day. Because they want you to face reality. They want you to see what's happening right in front of you. But when you really begin to understand that if the sun is the sun, and it's what we're taught that it is, it never stops shining. That means it's still shining whether you can see it or not. Whether it's a rainy day, a snowy day, or it's nighttime, the sun is still shining. It never stops. It's not like there's an on and off switch for it. But your perspective changes, because right now it's very sunny where I am. Maybe you can see that out there. But in about 5 hours, it'll be very, very dark out there. But the sun is still shining. Just because I can't see it, just because it's not there because it's behind clouds or it's nighttime. Do you see where I'm going? And this is why the myth busted that 3D circumstances truly don't matter. It's really powerful, because when you're asking for your thing that you believe is not there, because why? You can't see it, taste it, touch it, hear it, smell it. You're using your human 5 senses because you believe the outside world to be the real world. But you now can't deny, and I'm open for anybody who would like to debate, that the sun stopped shining, that the sun isn't shining on a rainy day, because we could go up in an airplane And I've been on airplanes that have hit stormy weather. And what does the pilot do? It takes the airplane above the clouds. And while it's raining below us, you see the sun shining. If it's daytime, you see the sun shining. So just because there's clouds blocking your view or a rotation of the earth that it's nighttime, and you're going to now say, because if you say that 3D circumstances do matter, then the sun doesn't shine. And that would be absolutely ridiculous. So this analogy is so powerful because it's a technique you can turn into that if you've asked for something and you still can't physically see it, it just means that you're in a perspective that has a very limited view through the 5 senses. So what do? You come out of that perspective. You come out of that version of you. You go into 0 point. And that's why our 2-day event is going to be so powerful, because 0 point, you die to the old self. You say, at this moment, I'm no longer Dede from PA. And I pull back out. And now I'm just existing as pure consciousness. And then I choose to go into a reality that isn't raining, that you can see the sunshine. And after my video yesterday, it only took about 20 minutes before the sun came out, even though on my phone it was supposed to rain all day. So when it's raining and people ask me, can I make the sun come out? I'm not making the sun come out. If this is all my dream, I'm just shifting us to a reality. I'm coming out of a reality that's rainy, and I'm coming into a reality that's sunny. But I can't prove that every single person is seeing the reality. Those who are geared to see the sun without me even saying I've done this and the sun's going to come out, everybody eventually will acclimate to it. But if this is my dream, why wouldn't I always, it would always be sunny. And someone might come in and say, well, the plants will suffer. No, because it's the assumption that everything in my reality already has what it needs. You're still playing in a reality of cause and effect, where if this doesn't happen, something will suffer. And we talked about several weeks back, getting out of stop suffering in your imagination, stop making yourself suffer and other people and animals and whatever else suffer in your imagination, just like you don't have to sacrifice to get something. There are realities where that's absolutely true, but stop playing in them, because there should be beautiful flow once you make a choice. And all you have to do is shed the old you. And this is why I believe for some that you go through a death experience for you to understand that that character is done. But you don't have to have a physical death experience when you're a master manifester, because you can choose to die to the old version of you, sit in neutrality for a while, and then come out as the version of you that already has it. That's why you don't have to put out fires of old realities. The doubting you will always doubt. The sitting me will always sit. The standing me will always stand. It's just, who do I say I am in this moment? And I don't even have to tell you I'm sitting, because it would be redundant to say, oh, by the way, can you tell that I'm sitting? And that's why words and language are not needed in the now moment. And if you're in language, if you're in thought, you're either in a past that's not happening right now, or in a future that never comes. Because all there is now. And if we just take a few moments right now, no words were needed. You could still see me. I'm still here. You're still there. Nothing earth-shattering happened. And how amazing is that? That's what neutral, that's what 0 point is, that everything's allowed to be. Because when you don't have thought, when you don't have questions in the mind, when you're in that calm and peacefulness, the mind will try to tell you that if there's not a whole bunch of noise coming through, that your subconscious won't know what to bring you. You have so much stuff activated that if you took a veil of silence for just an hour. I have my advanced clients do it for a day, where it takes them a while to get the outside world that they don't speak with, because they're not even allowed to nod or interact, because still that's communication. But the harder one most of the time is that internal one, to shut down the voices, because it's such a beautiful higher state of consciousness that when you don't have all that noise going on, you become this magnetic version of yourself that it seems like all you got to do is breathe and things start happening for you in a way. Because your subconscious mind takes you at your word. So whatever it is that you've asked for or commanded, as long as you haven't contradicted it, and that's why if you are going to have words, you always want to have the last word. And that's why at nighttime before bed, it's always great to go over your day. And Neville Goddard suggests from what just recently happened and then go backwards towards when you woke up in the morning, and give love on what it is that you loved about your day. And if there's something that needs to be revised and you didn't do it in the time when it was happening, because that's always the best time to do it, when it's happening, then you can do it then. And going to bed feeling so satisfied and complete, and I'm going to take a sip of water right now. That was so satisfying, because instantly, because I'm talking, my mouth is getting dry. So to satisfy that it's no longer dry, it's like those little things. And it's so satisfying, and I can still feel it in there. And the more you become awake and aware in the now moment, it's like you're blowing up this balloon that before you're just very surface level, and you're running to the next thing and running to the next thing and being pulled and being pulled and being pulled. But when you actually take time and breathe life into right now, and I teach you how to go deeper within this thing you call your body, but really it's this consciousness, this consciousness beacon where everything is flowing through. And when you go into 0 point and you just sit and be still with your eyes open, because we're not looking for a closed eye reality for this, you start to feel your heartbeat, the heart that's always beating, but now you feel it. And if you sit there a little bit longer, you'll start to hear it within yourself, because it's not beating out there. And you start to realize this is all an inside out job. And the more you sit with your eyes open and you focus on the breath, not because you're breathing, but the real you is the breath. It's like you meeting yourself for the first time as you come into the body that you're animating. And you're breathing out what it is that you've asked for. That's why in the Invincible CEO, water, hydration, and breath are very powerful. If you're going into the 2-day event, I always suggest that you have at least 80 ounces of water a day. Now, do you have to? No. Well, technically, if you'd like your body to function properly, it needs about minimum of 80 ounces. But if you drink caffeine, or if you do strenuous work or exercise, it's usually 80 ounces to a gallon a day, with 5 minutes of deep breathing every hour. Because there's something magical. If you want the magical part of this, there's something magical when you start to take care of this. And then it goes into, because you're hydrating and you're doing your deep breathing, because of that, all of a sudden, you stop craving realities and craving foods that don't serve you, because you're serving you. When you start serving you, when you start taking better care of this thing, this is this car that you're driving around, this body is your car, and you decide to serve it, it serves you, and you start to feel better about yourself. You stop the thoughts of people looking at you and judging you, because when you're taking care of you, it's like you don't even have to choose to eat better. You automatically do. And that's why it's always sunny in my imagination. And now it's always sunny in your imagination. And if you're part of our Invincible CEO Wish Fulfilled Playground group, and that's also in the comments below. And if I don't have it quite in this videos, if you just check on yesterday's video, it's called the Invincible CEO community group. I have it all broken down in there. Here's your water. Here is your oxygen. Because the thing that I've learned about deep breathing, and especially deep breathing with 0 point, I didn't believe it until I experienced it. And that's why I want to get you to the experiences, because like I said, as a personal trainer, I can't lift the weights for you. I can't do the exercise for you. I can tell you what you should be feeling. And I can tell by your body if you stop something, whether there was total muscle exhaustion or whether you're in your mind. But when you are really attuned with your body and deep breathing, and how I got to experience this beautiful gift is one of my daughters decided to come naturally when I was giving birth to her. And I got to feel the power of my body that the medical community had me so afraid of, that if I actually faced what it was that they were making me afraid of, because it made me an easier patient for them, but not necessarily what I needed for myself, that going forward, all of my other children were born naturally, and I learned how to breathe. And when I say to you that delivering a baby is one of the most painful pains that you'll ever experience, I'd rather have a toothache. But the breathing took you out of the reality of the pain. You transcended it through the breath. It's like an elevator. The room looked the same. I was still giving birth, but I wasn't in the physical pain. Yes, Lori has seen so many. Lori is in my 3-month group program right now, if I can share that, Lori. And she has seen physical body changes of weight loss without actually trying to lose the weight, because she's taking better care of herself, because she's doing the deep breathing and she's bringing the water in. And it's opening up realities to her of choices and different perspectives that she couldn't have doing the same thing, because you're on a loop of that character, that if you pay attention, you probably get up the same way every day. You probably put the same foot down on the floor. You probably move around in your reality a certain way, unless you're pulled out of your normal routine. But the whole idea about being a conscious creator is that you, in your creation, can decide you're no longer that version. Because when you get into manifestation and reality creation, your repetition doesn't cause anything other than it helps you to be the natural flow of things. And just like when you first started driving a car and you were very super nervous, you can't pinpoint the day where it just became this natural thing, because it just kind of happens through the repetition of it, that you were comfortable driving cars, that you didn't have to be so aware, extra aware, like you were in the very beginning. And what I teach people is that even natural upgrades, because I now have a mind that can drop ship something into my reality that wasn't there before and has no story and no logical reason to be there. And that now, when it first happened, it was very not unnatural. But I realize now what my mind was doing, that if something shows up in the house and nobody has any idea why it's there, my mind is saying, would you like things to arrive this way? And all I have to do is not question why they're there or how did it get here, because then it opens up a whole other reality other than my mind just drop shipping something in. Sometimes I can turn around and there it is. Sometimes I leave a room and I come back in, or I leave the house. And I'm not talking little things. Congratulations, 30 pounds down and no exercise, and your skin is changing too. And we're not even done our 3 months. We're not even done the 3 months. Because as you're shifting and going to higher realities, a version of you that already exists, because I'm sure Lori had some ideas in her head that she wanted to lose weight. and that she wanted to feel better about herself, and a whole bunch of things on her list. And this is where, when it's like you're butting in front of the line, it's like, okay, I got the mindset, now I got to go lose the weight. You don't have to do things linearly anymore. When you stay in this beautiful energy and you allow the things that used to bother you to stop bothering you, and in this moment, you know who you are because it's always sunny in your imagination. I don't care if it's cloudy, snowing, raining, thunderstorm outside. It's always sunny in my imagination. I can always close my eyes in that moment and see the real reality, the internal reality that I've chosen. And I sit with it until I know that it's done. Because just like when you get an email, when you place an order on Amazon, you know it's done. It's really like that. It's something you have to develop within yourself. And it's just like when people say, as a personal trainer, how do they know their starting set? How do they know when to go heavier with weights in their starting set? And it's something where I can give you some guidelines, but you just know. You just know. Because you trust yourself. Whether you can do, you're not getting the results, you're not getting the burn. There's so many different ways we can explain it. But it's because you said so. And the only way to trust yourself is to decide right now that you're going to trust yourself. Because why wouldn't you? Because you're the only you. Would you really deliberately do something against yourself? No. So if a version of you shows up and it seems like you're self-sabotaging, that's not you. Let that version die. The sitting me has to die in order for me to realize I'm standing. The standing still me has to die if I want to start walking. So there's these tiny little deaths as we go from one state of consciousness to another. And even if someone comes to me and says, you did this on such and such day, and it's the now moment, and in this now moment, I didn't do it, that's another version of me. And I don't identify with that version because there's lots of versions of me that did things that I would never do. They're none of my business. They're not happening right here. I don't have to take the punishment for some other version of me, that whether I'm aware of them or not, because that's not who I am now. That's what matters. That's how you know you've changed. Not only because you don't make the old choices of the other versions of you, but because you know within yourself, you're so heart-centered. Because when you're taking care of you, you don't need the outside world to do that. You don't need anyone else to complete you. And little things like deep breathing and drinking water, and knowing that it's always sunny in your imagination and 3D circumstances don't matter, because it could rain for days and days and days and days, but that sun is always shining. And that reminded me in my manifestations that I've chosen something, and it could be days and days and days and days where it looks like it's not happening, but the sun is still shining. That means my wish fulfilled is fulfilled. My wish fulfilled is always fulfilled, and I'm in it right now, and you're in it right now. And the only thing that will tell you that you're not is a thought. And just like the sky is bigger than the clouds, you're the sky and the thoughts are the clouds. You're bigger than the thoughts. They have to audition for your attention. Remember who you are. Just like if you had a company or a business, you wouldn't let the employees tell you what your vision is. You would have employees that would be on board with your vision, but if you decided to change it and go in a different direction, there might be some objections from them, but ultimately this is your business. That's why we're the Invincible CEO. You are the chief energetic officer of your life. And when I say the concept of nothing happens outside of your awareness, just play with me for a second. Just imagine, close your eyes for a second. And now when we open them, let's just agree that you're in a dream. Because have you ever noticed that when you're in a dream, you never realize how you got there? If you're at a barbecue, you're at the barbecue, and if someone in the dream were to say, how did you get here? You'd be like, I've always been here. I don't know how I got here. You don't remember driving. You don't remember walking, right? So if we right now close our eyes and open them and we say, okay, we're in a dream, and this is where the dream begins. Just like when you watch a brand new show and you turn on the first episode, it starts in the heat of things. It starts in the middle of things. And it takes the whole show to set up so that you, the viewer, the observer, can understand what's going on. So when you wake up in the morning, the same thing's happening. When you close your eyes and come out of it, you're in a dream right now. You're in a virtual reality video game, whatever analogy works best for you. And there is no story. So right now, if you declare you're a multimillionaire, your subconscious, just like the person behind the counter at the ice cream store, doesn't want to know how or why you are. It just says, yes, you are. And what's the proof? You chose. The choice is the proof. And until you can make peace with that, you will continue to create a messy middle and thunderstorms and rainy days that block out the sun that make you think the sun's not shining. And I'm here to tell you, and that's why it's so powerful in the Invincible CEO, what I've chosen, bring me what I've chosen. Because if I chose something and I've done all that was needed for me, and think about this is what's going on when you go to Amazon and you choose something and you've done your part, you've paid whatever the fee is, you've filled in your address, you filled in where it is it's supposed to come. Whatever you've chosen, you expect the delivery of it. Manifestation is the same thing. But Dede, what do I do in the middle? There is no middle. Because the moment that you chose it, and if there's anything required of you, you've done it, and you know that you've done it, and there's nothing else required, then you can't accept a mind that makes more hoops for you to jump through after the fact. So let me give you an example. And I use this in my group training the other day. When people sign up for my group training, the fees are the fees. They can pay monthly or you can pay one lump sum. So I said, just imagine after you paid your fee that I said, oh, wait, there's more fees to pay. That would be ridiculous. And you wouldn't accept that from your mind. So if there's something that I've chosen and I've done all that I need to do, and I know that there's nothing more needed of me, then I don't allow a mind to come in a reality that would require more of me because I know what I've chosen. Because then it's trying to create a messy middle. So if I choose I was working at a gym one time, and the way things went down at the gym, I didn't feel as their employee, my best interest was looking out for me or my clients. So I chose to leave. And as I was in this leaving process, I was taking my clients with me. I know what I've chosen. And as I'm leaving, the gym is telling me that I can't take my clients with me. Well, I'm not the one you need to have the discussion with. It's them, not me, because they've chosen me. You thought they were coming here for you, but I knew that they were coming there for me. So all I did was open an invitation that they could stay there if they wanted to, or they could come with me here. This is where I'm going to be. I know what I've chosen. So the gym can't come in and tell me that I can't do that, because then you're taking away the free will of the client. And when you understand how this manifestation and this works, when I chose to leave, it should not be held against me in my own mind because I'm safe in my imagination. And if it's always sunny in my imagination, meaning that not only am I bringing wonderful outcomes for me, but as the creator, I want to see wonderful outcomes for everybody who engages with me. That's what this whole channel is about. It's no fun if all I ever do is win big and everybody else around me is miserable, when you have the same power within you to win big too. And so maybe you don't know that. So I come here and I share that you can do reality the way that you want, or you can change it. And here's a way that's been working for me. So I'll give you everything I got to get you to understand and to start experiencing. And then you can run with it for yourself. And maybe you could add something onto it. But the thing that I've learned is all I need is 3 months. Whether it's for myself, because I realized after having 5 kids that it took about 3 months for a new normal, a new natural, a new normal, because now we had another addition to the family. And usually there was about a 2-year period before the next baby came. So we got used to that new normal. And when the new baby came, it was like chaos, craziness. But this too shall pass, because I would always say to myself, give it 3 months, give it 3 months. And it was normal before the 3 months. So if you look at Lori and what she's put in the comments here, it's not even 3 months yet. Give me 3 months and I will give you the foundation that you can run with. And you don't have to, you could take a small portion of it, right? As Lori said, she didn't get a nutrition plan. She just started doing the other stuff and things just happened and she's glowing now. Absolutely glowing, smiling all the time, coming out of her shell in ways that I'm excited to be on this journey, because every time I see her on screen and we interact, I know there's something new she's going to share because she's just bubbling over with smiles. And it's so amazing to see and watch this happen. So I want you to answer me this question, especially since we're having our 2-day event on the 7th and 8th of September. What if you went into that event? And I will be offering a new group training program from that you could choose to take that would start by the end of the month. So if we took October, November, December, so what if by the end of this year, your life could be totally different than where you are right now? Whether we're talking physical body, relationships, business, finances, a combination of all of them. Why not you? Why not you too? What's so special about you? Especially if what you're experiencing is confusing in this manifestation world, we get real clear real quick, because as an interrogator, that's what I'm after. I want clarity. Because once you're clear, you can choose. And that's why in the Invincible CEO, I don't use sales tactics. I don't use any of that stuff. You get a contract before you pay a dime when you work with me one-on-one, so that you understand all that is involved. I am like no other coach out there that I'm aware of. And I do have one-off sessions. I have group training programs, and I have one-on-one training programs that get very, very intense. So it all depends, where are you? And here's the really cool thing about the website, the builder that I use. I now can offer financing for the more expensive options. So there's so much here for you. But at the very least, if none of that, the YouTube channel, we have 500, 600 videos on the channel now. Folks, I've been doing this a really long time, and I'm addicted to seeing people get their wish fulfilled. This is like you're supporting my addiction of just happiness, sun shining in your imagination. You're not afraid of your imagination anymore. You stop creating realities where you have to sacrifice and suffer in order to get what you want. There's a whole other world out there. And maybe there's not as many people yet attuned to it, but we're growing. Can you imagine just being surrounded by people that want to see you succeed, and succeed so big, and be happy and enjoy? That's what we're offering here for you. So I'm really excited. 3D circumstances don't matter, because you know when it's raining out, that sun is shining, and this too shall pass, and that the clouds are going to clear up, the rain's going to clear up, and that sun will be there. But what you can do in the meantime is imagine the sun above the clouds, up there in the sky. And if you can, and you know that sun's there, then you know that when you're sitting in your asking point, we call it the jump off, that it's just a thought and 5 physical senses that tell you it's not there. But it is. Just like the sun. You're just from looking out of the eyes of a perspective of a version of you that can't see it. And we no longer want that version to be the be-all, end-all you. You may not get in there right away, but within 3 months, your perspectives, your physical body, and your life will change in ways that will blow your mind. I thank you, Lori, for sharing in the comment section of how this has helped you and how this has changed you. And that's how easy it is that you can get multiple wish fulfilled. Like she wasn't even focusing on the body and changing what she ate. And no exercise, guys, no exercise. For those of us who love exercise, I don't exercise to lose weight. I don't exercise to get stronger. I exercise because I am strong and I like to see the limits that I can push this physical body to do. Because most people don't realize the age that I am and what I'm able to do, because age doesn't matter, because time isn't real. I feel even better than when I was in my 30s. Like this is where we just let go of all the old language and beliefs because it's unnecessary. And we let the clouds pass by because, and maybe this is because I'm a Leo and our sign is the sun, but I identify with the sun. I like the heat. I like the long, bright summer days. And it's always that reminder that I'm always shining and I want to see you shine regardless of what zodiac sign you are. Love them all. Now that I know that there are more than Leos that exist, and that's an inside joke for other Leos would get that. But how wonderful of a world that we have, and how wonderful of an existence that we have, and how wonderful that we all get to be here together with one another. So I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. If you haven't watched the first session, it's there. It's in the description box. The link for the 2-day event, at the very least, take a look at it and see. And I would love to have you there. You automatically get put into the special group for the event. It's different than our main community group. This is just for the event. All of these sessions will be recorded and you will have access to them after the fact. So very excited. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Again, your likes, your subscribes, your shares, joining the nurture group, being part of that, being part of our challenges. There's so much going on. We are looking that either by the end of this year or the beginning of next year to doing a in-person event. And of course, it's going to be somewhere warm and sunny. But as that develops, I'll get more information out to you. And we will be back again next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But there will be more videos coming out. And if you haven't voted on this week's community chosen video, go to our community tab here on YouTube. There is a poll up of what video you'd like to see next. And that video will drop on Friday. And if you haven't checked out our shorts, we have a whole bunch of wonderful shorts too. Until I see you again, happy manifesting. Isn't it great to know it's always sunny in your imagination because you said so? And now you have the power to change anything you want instantly. Happy manifesting and enjoy. See you next time.